Hello everyone, welcome to Saturn in the 8th house of your chart. So if Saturn is in the 8th house from your ascending sign or moon sign, that means 8 signs away. This is good for you. Also, Western system, don't forget to use equal house or sign for a house system. If you are new to my channel, sub below and let's explore. So when Saturn has gone into the 8th house of your chart, what's happening here? First of all, what is the 8th house? The 8th house is a house of transformation, change, where things stop and start again in a completely different way. But it's not the house of death. Let's be very clear here. Western astrology has taken the 8th house as the death house when it's really not about actual death. The 7th and 2nd houses are marika or death producing or ending in our Vedic system. We understand it far more accurately. So a lot of difficulty is really made in understanding what the 8th house is. The 8th house is about fear and change and unexpected events because these things make us fearful, but not death. In fact, straight away, we see that Saturn here is going to give you a long, long, long life if it's well placed and has good aspects because Saturn is lasting. Saturn is old age. So it's not going to produce death in itself as a karmic necessity here. It's just not about that, okay? So the 8th house isn't about death. It's about change and transformation. The 8th house is about all of those things which come into our consciousness from hidden aspects. The 8th house contains occult knowledge. Why? Because occult knowledge is not known to the general mass of the people. It's hidden. It has to be found again. This is the house of the detective, the spy, people who are working behind the scenes to find out what's going on. This is a house of things that completely change you, completely transform you, and therefore traumas sometimes, okay? As I say, it's sudden events. But what is Saturn doing here? Is he bringing you more of these things? Not necessarily. You have to look, what houses does Saturn rule? That's your baseline. From your ascendant or from your moon, he rules 2 houses, Aquarius and Capricorn. What are they? Those are the areas that are going to be changed periodically and in which you're going to have to expect some sudden events. But if they will be difficult or not depends on the sign of Lord Shani and also the aspect. So you cannot make a sudden judgment that Saturn here is difficult per se. What Saturn is going to do, though, is he's going to give you the ability to deal well with sudden events and trauma if he is strongly placed and well aspected. In fact, some of the areas which Saturn is going to impact feel this aspect of Shani more than the actual 8th house, okay? Because the 8th house can make you quite a stoic person who can take a lot of change, can take a lot of transformation, mostly if you have a very strong sign here with Saturn and deal well with it. For example, if you've got Saturn in his own sign in the 8th house, in Capricorn or Aquarius, you deal very well because Saturn is in a Dusana house as the ruler. He contains it. So when you have these sudden changes in your life and things, e.g., the areas where you may have sudden changes are career, finances, and education particularly. Okay, I'm going to come onto these aspects soon in some real detail for you, but you will deal with them if Saturn is in his own sign very, very well. In fact, you will gain from these sudden changes and go up the ladder and things get better for you after these sudden events. That can happen with Saturn in his own sign of Capricorn and Aquarius. But even if Saturn isn't so well placed, you see, Saturn is over time what gets better. You are someone who deals well when things are going chaotic for people. So you can work in these industries, okay, where you deal with these sudden events. You can be a very good counselor. You counsel people extraordinarily well. You understand, you have empathy for people. You can be someone who, when things go, things go upside down, go topsy-turvy and sudden certain things happen in your family, you're the person who people turn to because you deal with it. That sort of thing can occur. You see, Saturn is making you a very strong person for the long haul here. As I say, this is a house of longevity. It's not the house of death. It's a house of longevity. It's a house of sticking in there and keeping on going. And Lord Shani, Kala, time is here. So you keep on plodding through all the difficulty. It's as though the more life throws at you, the stronger you get. It sounds a bit corny there, but that's actually what Saturn does. He makes you stronger through difficulties, and you become a very stabilized person for other people in your world with this Lord Shani. Now let's just talk about two other areas that are very important to the 8th house here: shared resources, finances, business, and hidden knowledge. You see, let's start with the hidden knowledge first. Hidden knowledge means knowledge which is not normally given in the mundane education system, like occult knowledge, astrology. Obviously, you're watching the video, you're into astrology, you have an interest in this. But what it means is that it's your destiny to search out this knowledge, and it's a lifelong thing because Saturn is time. So it's very important for you to find this knowledge and to use it well. You can be a very good astrologer with this Lord Shani, a very good occultist. You can be very good in using this to help yourself become stronger and to help other people. Okay, so you don't get this knowledge in the education system. Saturn's aspecting your house of education, you see. You have to go deep inside to get this hidden knowledge. Now, you have known this before. It's coming back to you again, but you have to search it out. Okay, this is why the 8th house is about things which are hidden, secrets. Okay, so therefore this is all about detective spies and people who actually they make a living out of this sort of activity. So that can be attractive to you also anything where you are digging deep, archaeology, even surgery in the medical field. These are all of absolute interest to you here. And business. Saturn is about shared resources, going into partnerships in a business with a very good aspected Saturn here. Well placed by sign. Wow, you can be a real entrepreneur. You can absolutely have masses of wealth with this Lord Shani. I've seen people with a Saturn conjunct Jupiter here have massive wealth. Okay, I mean really massive wealth. So it doesn't deny, it gives you over time the ability to accumulate wealth and to stockpile wealth. Okay, but here's the karmic key: you have to share. Saturn in the 8th house is giving you the karma of sharing out that wealth. If you want the wealth to work for you and not to include loss, you have to share, you have to give. You have to be continually sieving off the top of that and giving and giving and giving. If you do that, it's going to work well for you. Of course, 8th house is about inherited wealth. Many people inherit wealth here at some time in their life, either through divorce or through the negative side of shared aspects, or just through some sort of family inheritances, okay? And you deal well with this side of life, shared resources. You're very good at knowing how to fairly deal with shared resources. If Saturn is badly placed though, or badly aspected, you've got to be cautious that you are very ethical around these aspects of life. That's the karmic lesson here. So now the third aspect of Saturn, considering now the aspects of Saturn, is on your 10th house of career and status. You know, Saturn is all about duty, responsibility. So Saturn will give you directly the absolute result of your karmas in this house. It's very straightforward. The harder that you work, the more you are responsible and dutiful, Saturn will give you good karma, career status wise. Excellent. But Saturn is going to keep an eye on you here. So any slacking off, any thought of just having an easy time and not being very, very dutiful and so on, Saturn's going to come down hard. Sometimes it can be sudden career changes, sudden shifts which are unexpected. But if you think about those shifts, you know that you weren't really into that job. You weren't putting in 100%. So Saturn will give you absolute karmic due here. If you work hard, you will go up that ladder well. If you don't, Saturn won't waste a minute in pulling out the rung from under your feet. So Saturn's always watching you in this area. 10th house is father actually in the world. 9th house is your father as you experience him. But 10th house is your mother's husband, being 7 away from the 4th house of mother. So father's status, father's values impacts you, and you can take them on. You can go into your father's line of work or into your father's business, or you can have a big inheritance from your father that takes you into the working life. But it's a big responsibility and you feel it strongly. But most of all, Saturn is going to make you very responsible in your working life. Finally, you may have a difficult experience with superiors. Again, it's all to do with, are you really pulling your weight? You see, Saturn won't let you off for a minute. So anybody thinking, I'm going to have a nice time in my job and just do the minimum, Saturn isn't going to let you do that with this position. But you see, ultimately, Saturn is here going to give you that long life with lots of experiences. So even if you do have many different jobs, in the end, you will find where you feel most comfortable and be able to absolutely give 100%. Now, Saturn's 7th aspect, very strong on your 2nd house of family, responsibility and values and finance. It's very clear here, as I've said, Saturn makes you an excellent business person. Saturn gives you control of your finances. Depending on how strong he is by sign, you do excellently well. You can become very wealthy with this Lord Shani, absolutely. And you are very good at dealing with finances. Sometimes, though, if it's not so well aspected, you find it a big responsibility. But again, Saturn wants you to take on that responsibility in this lifetime, particularly for family finances, family affairs, and family values. You become the person who has to pass on your family values to your children. You take it very seriously, and that's all part of this Saturn karma here. But on the whole, it's very good for your financial situation. If you're thinking, well, I can't see that now, it doesn't seem to be, like that. I'm always worrying about money. That is also part of Saturn's karma to begin with. It's going to make you very aware of financial responsibility and even lack. So sometimes there can be lack. Sometimes it can be hard to get that financial security, which you need. But long haul, because Saturn is removing fear here, don't forget, Saturn is so strong in this 8th house. Don't forget, you see, I didn't say before, but Saturn is a karaka for this house. So he's very strong here. And over time, all of your fears and concerns and financial worries will be removed. Okay, because he makes you a master of these affairs. Finally, Saturn's aspect here by his 10th aspect, your 5th house. Now, before I talk about education and children, what's the good news here? That's why Saturn is so strong in this 8th house. He's removing your fear. He's not fearful. He is removing fear. So it's not a fearful thing. It's a strong thing. Saturn is a karaka for fear. In his house of fear, he removes it. Saturn controls it. Why? Because of your good karmas. The 5th house is a house of past good deeds. Saturn is bringing you back your past good deeds. And these will affect you according to the Lord of this 5th house. So that I can't say what that will be. You need to look in your own chart and see where the Lord of your 5th house has gone and any other planets in this house. But on the whole, though, Saturn is definitely bringing you back good karmas here that will help you find financial stability and success in your career long term, no matter how many ups and downs you have to go through. On the other hand, Saturn's going to give you specific karma with education that may seem limiting from a mundane point of view. You find it hard in mundane education because you're such a spiritual person. You like to dig deep, as I've said, into the occult and the deep knowledge. So the ordinary everyday education is a bit sort of, dry. You find that very dry. You find it hard to get a real joy from it. So for many of you, it spoils your education sometimes. However, not for all of you. So you might go up to PhD level with this, Shani, but maybe your heart isn't in it. You want to spend all your time studying astrology, occult, mysticism. That's where your heart is. That's what you're here for, because that has been there before. That's your past life knowledge. That's your good karma to find out these secrets. So yes, your education, mundane education, may be a bit spoilt in some form. E.g., you may leave a course early, leave university early, not complete an education, or you may, as I say, go all the way up there, but it never really satisfies you deep down. Children, there can be some karmic effect here. Very often there is a delay that you do not have them at the normal time, but much later. And there is a definite karma with your kids. One of the biggest things is that you want to instill your family values into your kids and they resist. I've seen this. So you may have that effect, okay, which can bring you down and make you feel a bit low. But you shouldn't do that. You have to just keep on doing your dutiful thing and it will absolutely be fine. So I hope that was a useful video for you all with some good information on the 8th house, Shani. If you enjoyed that, it's up to my channel. Coming up soon will be more videos on the Vedic system of astrology and indeed all astrology. Goodbye for now and God bless everyone.